Hello, everybody. My name is Jaime Landeros from the CantinaMX podcast. This is episode 246. We just finished a doble jornada, and it's starting to paint a picture of what Guardianes 2020 season has in store for us. And we have 5 observations of match week 5. The first one, there are 3 teams at 10 points, with America taking the top billing on goal differential. In second place is their crosstown rivals Cruz Azul, followed by León. Anyways, before I go any further, let's welcome Joel. How are we doing, Joel?
Hola, Jaime. Pretty good. And interesting that in the top 3, we have all 3 Mexican coaches. Although Cruz Azul's Siboldi, he was born in Uruguay, but he has double nationality. But he's pretty much done his whole coaching career in Mexico. So I'll consider him a Mexican national. Well, he does have the nationality, so. I mean, not a national, but made in Mex. And then we have Nacho, who at León, and he's been doing really good since he's been with the Panzas Verdes. He's been doing good, and he's the type of coach that you hear a lot of, like, when I see complaints, I read complaints from Mexican fans, like they don't go to Europe or they don't leave Mex to learn. Well, Nacho did just that, because he was assistant to what's his face, Aguirre, Osasuna and Atlético de Madrid, and he coached a few games in La Liga, as interim, but he was like about 6 years, and so comes back to Mex. We don't like him, man, and a lot of fans still don't like him, but he's up there, man. He's fighting, and then Piojo, who just numbers alone, man, he's arguably the best coach right now, at least. Maybe the last 4 years, I would say, if you were just to do his league numbers, for wins and qualifying to Liguilla and making it in finals and all that, he's easily top 2. And I know the fans don't like him. It was trending for a while, Fuera Piojo, because they lost to Querétaro 4-1. But despite the loss, they're still in first place, and so it's a bit interesting,
Yeah, I America lost to Gallos, and
Yes.
I didn't know that, but I was on Twitter, and Fuera Piojo started trending. So I'm like, what is going on, man? I mean, this kid has the team in first place. And you want his head. It's like, come on, man.
I don't think they've missed Liguilla with him. I don't think they've ever
Wow, really?
missed a big. Yeah, I don't think they have. I think the last time they missed it was with La Volpe when he came in, and then I think he didn't. They were off by a few points, but yeah, he's very, very consistent guy, and but we'll see what happens, man. I do think he should leave Mex. It's that saying, you die a hero or live long enough to become the villain. So he could leave Liga MX a hero, or stay there long enough to be and then hate. Hate is probably the key word for today. It'll come up again. Did you ever see Pee-wee's Playhouse? And they'll have like a...
No. I mean, I used to watch
you're too young, Way.
I watched the movie, though. I watched the movie.
This dude would have like his show in Pee-wee's Playhouse, and they'll have a word and be like, oh, today's keyword. And so anytime anyone brought it up, all his furniture would start yelling. So it was like all animated. You know, like the silla had a face and the drawers would
Oh, okay.
talk and
Okay.
yeah, hate. But hate is today's word. It's yeah. Today's podcast brought to you by the word hate and the number 5.
Oh man. Yeah, it's funny because America had that tough game, or that, the upset rather. And I believe they bounced back after that. Or they, because it was a doble jornada, so they beat Santos on Thursday, and then they lost to Querétaro on Sunday. Um and then you have León, who played on Monday and beat Tijuana. And then, yeah, like you mentioned, you have Cruz Azul kind of just staying afloat, man. They had a great campaign last year. They were in first place before the league got canceled, and
Yes.
they're continuing to be the most consistent team so far.
Yeah, very close, very close. And then they did play that one final not too long ago. So they're at the they're so close yet so far, but they're trying to break that what is it 17 years now without a league title. But they're there, and I do think Siboldi is a good coach. He's been at it for a while there in Mexico. Um, because he did start at Cruz Azul. He was a, he was coaching there. I think it was second or third division. Cruz Azul Jaso. He coached Cruz Azul Hidalgo, and then he was at Dorados de Sinaloa. And he started in '06. So he's coaching these teams, and then he disappeared after Sinaloa,
Wow.
which was 2012. He didn't resurface till 2017, 2018 when he becomes champion at Santos Laguna. And then he goes to Tiburones. I don't know why he did that. He probably was doing someone a favor. That's almost career suicide right there. But he goes to Tiburones, and the disaster that was. And then
Yeah.
he's back at Cruz Azul. But I would say just judging by how he coached Santos that season and how they won the championship, I think he demonstrated a lot, and he's continuing to show that at Cruz Azul.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, the question will be, who is going to lead them to the promised land, They've gotten close many, many times, but they just can't seem to get the carrot that's dangling in front of them. But
Yeah.
hey, why not go full circle now that we have Dena available again? Hey man, go full
Nah,
circle,
he won't be able to. The rule is if you coached during the season, you can't coach until the next. So you can't. He won't be
Oh, is
able
that
to.
true?
Yeah. So
Oh, I
you,
didn't know that.
you yeah, you can't coach more than one team a season. So, but I think if we're looking at the way some of the teams are, I think it's kind of poised for them. It's almost the table is set. You have a Monterrey that's not doing good, Tigres that's also not. They don't seem as strong as they've shown to be.
Hmm.
And then America, yes, they are in first place, but they've been susceptible to a couple defeats there. They didn't look too good in the preseason. It is preseason, but still, I think that's why the fans are still like, kind of salty. But I do think, if we top to bottom, we're looking at the teams, and like you said, consistency is key right there. I think Cruz Azul, if they manage it right, this could be their year, man.
We'll see what happens. Also, hiding right below the three-way tie for first place, Pumas remaining the only team that is undefeated right now. Um, it looks like the interim coach Andres Liini has been handed the reins. The fans aren't happy, and the club is not investing.
Yeah, and it's this guy just seemed to have come out of nowhere. Nobody. He was coaching the youth. He was coaching the youth team, and Michel had to leave. He didn't want to leave his mom alone in Spain due to the COVID. So he just checked out, man. And then Pumas, well, they don't have enough money. We talked about it here that supposedly they offered Gonzo Pineda, the reins, and he's like, nah, I'm cool. I'm cool over here in Seattle, man, or wherever he is in MLS. And he just turned them down. And so Perilini or Lilini or this guy, he is
Lillini.
undefeated, and after after 5 games, and it's I guess he earned it, I guess he earned the reins of the first team. And I was looking at his record, his coaching, and he's been at it for a cool minute.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Damn, it kind of reminds me of Ole Ole Gunnar from Manchester United. He was the interim coach, but they had such a great finish to the season, and they upset PSG in the Champions League. That they said, Ole, take the wheel. You're the coach now, and I remember Rio Ferdinand just being the biggest advocate for Ole Gunnar. And now, fast forward to 2020, they crashed out of the Europa League semifinals against Sevilla, and the fans are kind of starting to turn on him, and they're starting to realize that they're just being cheap. They're not actually trying to hire someone that's going to cost them a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like that's the same situation with Pumas.
Yeah, and what Pumas has been trying to kickstart their youth and depend on the youth for their cantera, which for many years, especially like in the 80s, 90s, they were the top. They were the top cantera. All of the big names were coming out of UNAM, talking about Hugo Sanchez, Claudio Suarez, and a long list of players. So here's a little bit of Lini. I don't know how to pronounce this. It's probably Italian. Lillini. But he was at Pumas working the youth. So this guy's been around for a while. And this is Mex. I never heard of him. But in 2001, he was at Morelia. He was working with Morelia behind the scenes. And then from 2007 to 2011, he was working as coordinator for the youth at Boca Juniors. 2011 to 2014, again working with youth, but this time with CSKA Moscow. And then he came, and I think he coached in 2017 in Colombia. Club Universidad Nacional. Wait, that's Pumas. What the? I was confusing them for the other Nacional. Wait, where is it? He came. Let me see. Yeah, in 17. So he's been at Pumas for the past 3 years.
Oh.
He came to Pumas as a thing, but before that, he was an assistant coach in I believe in Chile, San Luis de Quillota, as a team. It sounds like those back road towns, tumbleweeds. But this is nothing there, man. But I guess he was coaching. He was coaching for a cool minute, and he was also assistant coach in Argentina for Gimnasia y Esgrima de Jujuy. So I guess, this guy's been working for a cool 20 years. So Pumas is his big shot, and so far he's taking good advantage of it, man. He's undefeated, 4th place, not bad.
Yeah, you can probably say that they are going to be the dark horse maybe of the tournament. I don't know. I guess maybe they can't be because they're undefeated, but they weren't a team going into the season that we thought, oh, okay, they're going to be up there in the top because they didn't have such a great season last season.
They, they didn't, but they do seem to have a secret weapon, and we'll mention it later.
It's funny while we're talking on Pumas, the ex head coach Miguel Michel Gonzalez said that there's plenty of Mexican players that could play in Europe, and that Rodolfo Pizarro made a mistake in his career by moving from Monterrey to the MLS. And he said that he'd like to play in Europe in the future, and that joining David Beckham's Inter Miami increased his chances of making that happen. Oh, I mean, sorry, that's what Pizarro said. That was his explanation or his argument of why he made the move. But then Gonzalez says that I think Pizarro, with full respect, has missed a great opportunity to stay in Liga MX or go to Europe, because I think the MLS right now doesn't have the level, and he's a great player that can keep growing. And he also said that he left the club for personal reasons, and then he named off a few other prospects: JJ Macias, Sebastian Cordova, Jesus Gallardo, Andres Iniesta from Pumas would do well in Europe because of their football ability, but I think they have to change their mentality. In Mexico, they compete in the games, but in Europe, they compete in training. And from the first day, you have to have the mentality that the training session is like a game. So those are some of his comments. I think he's spot on, though.
Yeah, I agree, but I think something that with Pizarro saying about a better chance of going to Europe from MLS, and I think a lot of it is the monetary, because in Liga MX, I mean, I knew that door closed when Chivas bought him at 17 million, whatever it was, and I knew they weren't gonna sell him for anything. Well, I mean, why would you sell him for less?
Yeah.
Or that much less. You don't pay all that money, and then you don't buy a car for 20K, let's just say, and then a year later you're selling it for 5. That's just and so I think that's along the line, especially after, and then going to Monterrey that was willing to pay that much money, and then Chivas recoups, and then Monterrey didn't really sell them. They did have the cláusula, right? That Miami took advantage of, and they paid the cláusula, and so I think that was probably I'm guessing that was like Beckham's promise was like, if there's a good offer, help us here for a year or two, and then if there's a good offer, we could take that. We'll take that cut,
Yeah.
We'll sell you for cheap, and we'll allow you to leave. And I think that's more along the lines of it. But you're not gonna hear the players talking about the whole, the money side of the game. They always, it's rare. You don't really hear them talk about just about that stuff. They just tend to ignore it I guess there's many reasons for that.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit more about some prospects and how they haven't panned out later on in the show. But we wanted to talk about our third observation of match week 5. I mean, do we even have to say it? Atlas are the only club without a victory. And congratulations on their 104 years.
Man, what a way to celebrate in last place. Ouch. It's like that's like, when you throw the birthday party and no one shows up. There's a picture right there with a cake and the hat, and no one went, dude.
So their birthday was on August 15th. They were founded in 1916, and their only title was in 1951.
Yeah, and that team was when they came into the picture, you know, they had money. The académicos they were called, and a lot of their players had gone to England to study. Man, and you're going way back then when you had to take a boat, and it took like 3 months. You know what I mean? And 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 a lot of back then, if you were playing football, it was like majority of people that played football, it was like for people with money. The rules were in English. They, of course, came from England, the rule books. Uh, and then if you bought equipment, it also came from England. It wasn't like now you could just go to the local soccer shop and buy whatever you need. You had to get it custom made. And England was one of the places that you needed the tacos, the shoes, you needed the uniforms, and yeah, even from other countries like Juventus, for example, they had ordered their uniform and from England, and then England sent them the wrong one. They because they were pink, like kind of like Palermo with black and pink. Yeah, and they sent them the striped black and white, and that's how they ended up just keeping it. But that was back then, man, and I don't know what happened throughout the years. A lot of mismanagement. They were also the last of the true clubs in Mexico. We call them clubs, but none of them have been clubs for a long time, where there's actual members. Chivas and Atlas were like the last two, and then when Vergara bought him, it stopped being a club, because now it's owned by a company, and then Atlas was left, and Cruz Azul it's kind of weird just because they're owned by a company, but the company is owned by people. It's a little confusing there. Yeah, but as far as club, and then Cruz Azul came to the picture like in the '60s, which a lot of that stuff was no longer like the way it used to be, where it was a club, and it was like the neighborhood club, and they had all these sports, basketball and whatever, and soccer would be one of them. But yeah, Atlas, man, it's hard fall, and they've been at the bottom. They say once you're at the bottom, there's nowhere else to go but up. But they can't seem to move, man.
Yeah, they haven't really made much progress. They just can't find the victory, and it's not like they're playing some world beaters here. They lost to Cholos, they lost to Pumas, then they tied with Atleti. They tied with some other team as well. And then they lost to Toluca. So, we picked on them pretty hard last week. No surprise there, though. They're kind of going to be the ongoing joke for the rest of the season. Let's talk about some goal scorers. We have 3 strikers.
Observation number 4.
Yes. Thank you, Juan. 3 strikers tied with 5 goals each. So Juan Ignacio, the Neno. We have, of course, Gignac, Alexis Canelo. And with 3 goals, we have Federico Viñas, Jonathan Rodriguez, Fernando Gorrian, and Santiago Ormeño. So a lot of goals, huh? That's not bad. You're basically averaging a goal a game.
Yeah, and I was talking about Puma's secret weapon, and that would be Juan Dineno, and he's Argentine, and this is his first season at Pumas, 9 appearances, 8 goals, I guess he must have came in last season before it got suspended. So I mean, 9 appearances, 8 goals. This guy's been on point. And if we look at his career, it just looks lackluster. You know,
Yeah,
he
I've never heard
started
of this
off at
kid.
Racing Club Argentina, then he was at Temperley, which it doesn't even sound like a soccer club. Sounds like some I don't know what it sounds like, but he was at Aldo Civi on loan, and then well, even on Temperley he was on loan. He's been on loan for let me see, he's been about 5 years on loan.
So
Pretty kind of like couch surfing. Aldo Civi, then he was at Deportivo Cuenca. He was at Barcelona de Guayaquil, Deportivo Cali,
who are
and
these
finally
clubs,
lands
man?
at Pumas.
Bro, I don't even know half. I've never heard of some of these clubs, man.
Well, yeah, Cali, Colombia, and Guayaquil. I know it's in Ecuador. Cuenca, it's Ecuadorian as well. Let me see,
Wow.
Aldo Civi.
Barcelona.
Yeah, Aldo Civi, it's in Argentine, but
Mm,
are they like in second division or
that's what I'm
third?
saying. Like they sound like a second division club, but
They're
I think they are in the first division.
This is like an amateur team. They
My question
play
is,
on
how do you
Sundays.
Liga MX without failure always finds these obscure players that just never. I've never heard of them. They've been in the freaking like I don't know, just I don't know how they just I don't know if they just take a bunch of players' names in a hat. They kind of just grab, are they from Argentina?
Just
All right, cool. And then all right, like what was that one player? Ore Miao or what was his name? It was
what team was he in?
Cruz Azul. It was like his last name was like Ori Miao or something, and it was just like, bro, who is this guy? But
I don't know, but Dineno. Well, he's 25, so I mean, if he maintains, you know, how he's playing and scoring, he could be making some pretty cool money right there in Mexico. So I think he finally came to be. But there's one thing that's important here, and that's that he's been playing now, you know, since he was about 19, I guess. He's consistently just been playing, and that's why it's what we lack with a lot of Mexican players. They don't get to debut till they're like 22. 23, man. Like the average 19-year-old Mexican guy is gonna have like maybe 10 games.
yeah,
This dude has the appearances, like over 200, and in just different leagues. But he's been straight hustling for all these years, and it's makes him a better player than if you're just playing with reservas or playing the cantera or playing Copa MX for just getting off of the bench and playing like 20 minutes.
funny that you mentioned that Chivas already hit the 1,000-minute threshold that for some reason everyone keeps forgetting about. I don't even know if they're still enforcing it.
With the youth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that too.
Yeah. So they're actually the first club to reach 1,000 minutes. El 2011. Xolos and Chivas are the only teams to reach the arbitrary 1,000 minutes.
Oh man, surprised it's Cholos and not like Pachuca or Atlas.
Right? Because I feel like Xolos are sometimes they line up with like no Mexican.
So just going back on the strikers, these top three. So we have two Argentines and a Frenchman, and so Guignac's he's up there in age, right? He's like 35. And then we have Canelo, who I think he's been at Toluca, and no surprise there. But then with 3 goals, like following these guys, there's a couple more strikers with 3 goals each, and it's Federico Viñas, Uruguayan, Jonathan Rodriguez, Uruguayan. I think Gorillan is also, if he's not wrong, he's Argentine. And then we have Santiago Ormeño, the one Mexican, and he's had like a pretty interesting like career thing. He only has 3 goals, so who knows? Hopefully he could maintain. But he's 26. He's 26, and yeah, he's barely beginning. 3 goals in 8 games, not so bad. But I mean, so this is his career, man. And so just to compare, right? We're comparing with Dindeño, who's 25, and we saw he has like appearances like over 200. So here's Ormeño's career. 2017, he was at Pioneros de Cancún.
The fuck is that?
He only.
Are they like a beach
they sound
team?
like a band.
Are they a beach team, bro?
Eating shrimps and they're playing cumbias or something. And then he was at Lobos Buap. Then he played 2 games there.
Wow.
Scored 1 goal. And then he was at Cusco.
Is that Peru?
I'm guessing it's in Peru.
Peru.
He left to Peru on loan.
Wow.
2 games. Scores a goal again. And then 2020, he's at Puebla, where he has 8 games and 3 goals. And he's 26, man. 6'1",
man.
but it's like
This guy's barely getting his career on start.
he had 25 appearances, man, in just in first division, and it's like that's
not even first division. That Cancun team is in the 3rd tier in Mexico.
and so but it's interesting. This dude came out of America. He was with the youth division at America, and then he was also at Pumas for a while. So it's we're kind of seeing now why, because like looking at Dinero, and it's like we really don't need to bring in, and I would say with all due respect, strikers like that. Like Mex could create those type of players, but they don't.
Yeah.
We don't give them an opportunity. We don't. We sit them down and we bury them. This one dude on Twitter was comparing the career of Chevy. I don't know if you saw it. Chevy Martinez, the Chivas striker. To the one, I think he's Japanese kid who's owned by Real Madrid.
Yeah. I was actually going to talk about that or segue into it. The Guardian in 2018, they put a list of the top 60 biggest youth talents. Yeah. And the only Mexican that showed up on the list was Sebastián Chevy Martinez, and he was alongside the guy, the Japanese player Takefusa Kubo. And somebody on Twitter actually broke down like their trajectory since that article, and how different their careers have been since that article was posted. Kubo was purchased by Real Madrid, and he immediately was loaned out to Mallorca, and he was basically an undisputed starter. And then Chevy Martinez was still, in the youth side for Chivas, and he hadn't really made his professional debut yet, apart from some minutes in like the Copa MX. And then a year later, when they're both 19, Kubo goes to Villarreal, and he gets not just La Liga minutes, he gets Copa del Rey minutes and Europa League. Meanwhile, Chevy Martinez barely made his first division debut, but he mainly played in the expansion league. And basically what this guy is saying is that, what a drastic difference the development of our players, our jewels, versus, some other leagues and federations, man. It's sad.
It's the playing time. That's what it's come down to, because we see a lot of youth teams, a lot of the Mexico youth teams go out and do really well. The different categories, under 17, under 20, under 23, they do extremely well. But when those players return, they just get, sidelined, and then you don't hear about them anymore. and other countries that they don't have as many foreigners. Well, I mean, all those players are getting more and more playing time, and that's ultimately that's what's going to help you develop. I know, and I've gotten this argument with the other guys about that the coaching is subpar, is not that good, and I disagree, man, because we've seen many players that were developed in Mexico go abroad and do really well. Pavel Pardo, when he went to Germany and he won a league title. Chicharo left and off the bat he was scoring goals at Man United. He didn't need to send him on loan to the Dutch league to 2 years so he could learn how to head and kick the ball properly. He did it off the bat. So to me that's always been the you know what's held the Mex from developing more talent, just the lack of playing time, which is I think for Chiva Hermanos the good news is they brought back Tapatio and they're playing in second division, but the Tapatio was always pretty much that's where you sent your top cantera players, and it's way more competitive than playing the under 20 and the reserve and all that. It's in the second division. It's
You know,
that's a good.
it's crazy because I remember at one point in time, Chivas actually did the opposite. They were throwing these kids out to the lines. This was during the recession of Chivas when they were almost borderline getting relegated. They were in a tough time. I remember right after they sold Chicharo, they just threw in Gubo, and he immediately started producing results. But then they started to label him as the next Chicharito, and I think the expectations of an 18-year-old kid
Yeah.
to lead us to
Same.
victory was just too much.
Same with El Güero Fierro.
Yeah, exactly.
He debuted pretty young, and they were already also tagging him as the next big thing, and that also.
Yeah.
But I think what Chivas what's hindered a lot of these guys is the constant shuffling of coaches
Oh yeah, of
and
course.
tactics and playing systems
Hmm.
and just a lack of just
Structure
a
and
planification.
yeah.
Okay, this is how we're gonna carry the team, and so yeah, like if you see some of these players and then how many coaches they had in that short time span, it's no es bueno.
Yeah, and then I actually looked at Fierro's career. He's like one of the few. He's like one of the few players that won the World Cup, the under 17 one that actually got like over 100 caps in the first division.
Yeah,
But
and
then
when he has the league title with Chivas. He was there in the doblete season.
was he? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he played at the final.
Um, and then I remember we just went through like Michel Vasquez, Granados. We went through like a bunch of strikers, man, and like they were just not ready for that kind of. I mean, look at Godinez and
Yeah.
Cisneros, Saldivar. I
Well,
mean,
yeah, they're throwing these guys at 21, 22,
yeah,
and it's like by that age they should already have over 100 caps, not just you have 5 games and there's this short season and you better produce or not.
yeah. And then we had like literally like the worst coaches. We had that one guy that was the assistant coach of Mexico. What was the guy's name? That guy was like he just looked like he was drunk 24/7. And he was our coach.
He was La Volpe. What's he, La Volpe? No, he was
No,
Sven Goran. I think he worked with both. I think it was with Sven Goran.
Paco
He's a dude that
Ramirez, bro.
he
You take
he
one look
he
at Paco
slapped
Ramirez,
Frankie Hey dude on the face.
bro. Just looking at this guy, he looks like he's drunk like 24/7.
He looks like a villain from the Fifth Element movie. Like he had that little thing by his beard. He looks like a sci-fi villain of a.
Yeah. We switching gears, we actually had a fifth observation this week that kind of ties into Chivas a little bit. What's going on with Marco Fabian, Joel?
Oh man, we all saw that picture. If you guys haven't seen it, you could Google Marco Fabian,
Juarez.
Juarez,
Yeah, it's
like
actually the
his
thumbnail
presentation.
of our last episode. So yeah,
Yeah, and he just looks depressed, man. And this guy went from Germany to MLS, where I'm assuming he was making some pretty good cheddar, and now he's one of the low clubs in Liga MX, man, one of the bottom feeders, and he was talking about how there's just too much jealousy in Max, man.
so
I don't know if he's
you wrote this down. You said that he was doing an interview.
yeah on YouTube, so which is funny. It's sort of like you're not even being interviewed in the ESPN
I actually
or the
haven't seen
Televisas.
it.
Now
I want to
you're
see it.
maybe we could get him in the podcast, man. He's fallen low enough. I think we have budget for that.
Oh man,
Go.
you know, he's starting to become accessible. So yeah, you wrote down that he said this. I've always said it. Something that manifests a lot in Mexico is jealousy and envy. The Juarez striker said during an interview on YouTube. This isn't just football, but in any field, in any job, anytime there is someone that stands out, there will always be why and questioning and jealousy and hate, envy. In Mexico, we can't just support each other or be happy that someone triumphs or say, look, he is Mexican and we can back him up because he represents me because I'm Mexican. For example, if a doctor stands out, we don't say, wow, Mexico has the best doctor. On the contrary, we say he is the best because he has connections or he was helped or paid. We always question and we don't value. Man, he was... Tell me how you really feel, Fabian.
He mentioned Chicharo as well. He says
Oh.
how much hate Chicharo gets.
He does get
even though he played in Man U and Real Madrid, and he says fans can be happy for that, and that they have to compare him to Jimenez and yeah, but he was unleashing, man, and there is a little bit of truth to what he says. I remember Hugo Sanchez years ago saying that he says if you ask the Brazilian who the best player is, they'll tell you Pelé. If you ask the Argentine, they would say Maradona. If you ask Mexicans, they're not gonna say Hugo Sanchez. And I could say it is. I guess a lot of times we do lack a bit of that pride. Sometimes we don't just have it. Sometimes to say it's we like to knock down our heroes, man. It's like the piñata culture, man. I remember as a kid, I remember they got me a Chapulín, dude, and as a kid, Chapulín, that's the Avengers right there, and I was all happy, and I didn't know, man. And then after during the party, they hang him up on a rope, and my cousins are beating the shit out of him with a stick, and I was like, what the fuck, dude? That's Chapulín, dude. Why are you killing this dude, man? And that's kind of where it is, dude. We like to, be it Cuauhtemoc, Marquez, whoever, we eventually just like to destroy our heroes, man.
I was just quickly YouTubing this video, Zaba Live. He's a YouTuber with 500,000 subscribers, and he was able to get Marco Fabian on the
we're not that far off there, Jaime.
And he actually also did a interview with ESPN Deportes, and he said that Chivas me buscó, pero no hubo oferta. So he kind of talked about how, because people were asking him why he didn't go back to Chivas. So looks like they decided not to offer him a deal. The thing is, there's not even money involved. He was a free agent.
Yeah.
So it's not like they were negotiating like a transfer fee. They probably just didn't want to pay him.
Yeah, so who knows what Juarez is paying him. I doubt Juarez, he has more, is anywhere close to what Chivas could muster. So who knows, man?
He's probably making like, I mean, I have no idea. He's not making $1 million though. There's no way he's making $1 million.
Sometimes they get, you have like promoters and whatnot that, and especially like Fabian, where it's like, okay, then it's important you play because the longer you're out of it, your stock drops. So at least try to get in a half a good season, and then we could see what's going on there. But yeah, I don't think the club is paying him
Has he?
that much.
I don't think he's played yet, right? Because he didn't play against Chivas. And, I mean, I don't really follow Juarez, so I'm not sure if he already made his debut, but I think we would have heard about it if he did.
They're using him for like supermarket openings and meet and greets.
Oh, man. You know what's crazy? Kind of going back to Chicharito a little bit. Sevilla defeated Manchester United. They're in the final in the Europa League. And if they end up winning the Europa League, Chicharito will be getting some silverware. He actually was involved in the campaign. Yeah. He actually scored, right? He scored in the...
Yeah, I think he scored 2 goals during the group stage, but given that he played group stage, there will be a medal for him. I mean, they made the final, so he's getting at least that second place medal.
He's getting that the silver or the gold, man.
Yeah, dude already won without playing. He's winning, dude.
Yeah, I actually did watch both of those games. Sevilla beating Manchester United. Manchester United always find a way to lose things. But the other game, the Inter Milan game, they played Shakhtar. They're a team from the Ukraine. Nedi Castillo used to play there. And Inter Milan, I'm looking at the players. I'm like, wait a minute. Ashley Young, Lukaku, and Alexis Sanchez. I'm like, bro, this is Manchester United players. Like, it's like, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Yeah, they're all EPL.
It's funny.
Former.
Sevilla have won this tournament. I lost count of how many times. So I would not be surprised if Javier does end up getting some gold in the mail.
If you imagine, you get that gold medal. If I'm Chicharo, I would put the medal on and go to the Galaxy training wearing that medal.
Say, hey guys,
look what my former teammates do for me, man. You guys can't give me one decent pass.
I said I was gonna come to LA and win some silverware, and well, here you go.
I would just wear it, dude. I wear it for a whole week.
I actually, it's funny. I used to know this older guy. He used to be my coach, and he went on like a marathon. He ran a half a marathon. And he got 3rd place, and that guy was so proud. And he wore that bronze medal for like a week straight, bro. I'm like, yo, it was a half a marathon, bro. Chill, bro, chill. But I'm sure Javier will. He'll probably bring it up in his Naked Humans blog or something. He left prematurely from Sevilla, but it is what it is. We actually have some pretty big news that was announced yesterday. We actually have some FIFA fechas for Mexico, and we just lost Joel. Costa Rica will be Mexico's. We got Joel back.
I couldn't hear you.
Oh.
So I thought you dropped, but I was like, let me just reconnect.
You can hear me, right?
I could hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so Mexico finally has some dates. So there will be 2 matches. One will be on September 30th, El Estadio Azteca, Mexico versus Costa Rica. These are just...
Wait, you said dates. You're talking about World Cup qualifying?
These are friendlies.
Oh, friendly.
So
okay.
We have Costa Rica friendly, September 30th, and then another friendly on October 7th. We'll be playing in Amsterdam against Holland. So
Good games.
good games. I can't remember the last Mexico game that I watched. I feel like it's been forever since we saw them play.
Oh man, same here.
And on top of that, they followed up with dates for World Cup qualifying. So we're gonna have Jamaica on in June of 2021, Costa Rica, and then we still have some TBDs. But World Cup qualifying, man, it's gonna start next year. I'm kind of curious how that's gonna work with the Olympics too, because they're gonna do them next year as well. So it's gonna be a
It's
busy.
like jornada dobles, man. International soccer jornada dobles.
They're gonna.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Se amontonó, congested calendar there.
Yeah.
So, but I'm sure Tata Martino is planning it all out, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's. I wonder what he's been up to this whole time.
Hey, he's getting paid, dude. Sweet job.
Man,
He's just binge watching stuff and
binge watching.
took up cooking classes. I don't know, man. I just know it's a sweet gig for him.
Yeah, a lot's gonna happen between now and 2021. But looking for the Qatar World Cup. I mean, we still don't have a goalkeeper to replace Ochoa, man. And I'm like, I mean, he can probably do another World Cup, but you got to have at least some runners up, man. You got to have someone trying to take the spot away from him, but I don't see anybody.
Yeah, I'm not too worried for this. I would be for the next cycle, but for this one, and and if what's his face Cota could, but you also have that other guy. Goddamn, se me olvida el nombre.
We have Layud.
He's been the forever suplente, dude. He was at Toluca.
Talavera.
There you go.
I don't even. Is he still playing?
Tala's pretty decent, dude. He's been at it for years.
I think Talavera is older than Ochoa, man. He's 30. Let me see.
Goalkeepers, man.
He's 37.
Didn't Conejo, dude, will bring him back out of retirement. That dude delivers, dude.
Chuy Corona.
Conejosaurus Rex. Yeah, Chuy. I mean, they're old, but I mean, you're just standing there most of the time, so
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I just think that. Well, I mean, Ochoa, for America at least, he hasn't been doing so well. So,
No, but the selección he delivers, man. That's one thing about Ochoa, man. He puts on that headband and he it's rare. It's rare to see him have like a bad game. He's been on point.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I still want someone to step up to the plate and be like, "Yo, I'm the next guy," because the goalkeeper position for Mexico has always been one of the most marketable player. Like before Ochoa, you had Osvaldo and he was like the poster boy, and before that it was El Brody Campos. So the goalkeeper position has always been sort of like iconic, and you might not be able to name too many players, but you can always remember who was our goalie for like the World Cup, because that they've established themselves. They're someone that are familiar. They're always going to be in the lineup. So Ochoa's been there forever, man. It's just like, it's time, man. It's time to carry, have somebody else carry the torch, but I don't really see anybody making a name for themselves. At this point, I would probably rate Toño Rodriguez as number 2. He's been really good for Chivas, but.
And there's the kid that was at Veracruz. I forget his name. He's at Cruz Azul now. Jurado, there you go. Mm-hmm. And he's
kind of also a punk, though. He's kind of a punk.
He's got some stuff, but he shouldn't have gone to Cruz Azul though. Not with Chuy Corona there. I think he should have gone to a team where he's the undisputed starter. Mazatlan, any team, doesn't matter. Just get the playing time.
Yeah. He was doing so well at Veracruz because they were, he was busy
That's
every game.
that's the best practice, man. 50 shots on goal every day,
It's like when Ochoa was at
every
Axio,
match.
you know. Axio had like the worst defense in the French league, and that's how he got so good.
It's like the dude that goes to jail and you're getting beat, but after a couple fights, you eventually gonna start winning some. That's just
Oh man, we're actually gonna be heading into Jornada 6 tomorrow, which is kind of crazy. We have, where is it? Necaxa versus Santos kicking us off. And then Juarez León. So some pretty good games there, I guess, if you're got nothing to do on a Friday.
yeah. I'm not too. They don't really appeal to me, those games. What's
They're
what's
all
in the agenda for Saturday?
they're all kind of bottom feeder teams. Juarez is 13th, Santos is 14th, Necaxa 16th. So I mean, then after that we'll have Saturday at 3 p.m. Atlas Querétaro, which I think is a weird time to play. Atlas usually play like at nighttime. I don't know why they're playing at 3 in the afternoon. Weird. Tigres Pumas. Ooh, that's gonna be a good one. Rayados versus
Yes,
America. Oof. Wow. And then on Sunday we have way more games. Oh no, we have 3. Toluca, Chivas, Athletic Cruz Azul, Tijuana, and Puebla. And I'm actually kind of nervous for Toluca, man. They actually looked really good against Tigres. They beat them 3-2. And they have Chepo.
they have Chepo. Yeah, Chep Guardiola. What I was seeing the stats. I was looking at the stat nerds, and right at just 3 games into the season, and Chivas had the least because they had 0 goals.
Mm-hmm.
So they were obviously the team that was creating the least amount of chances, and the team that was creating the most chances was Toluca.
Oh shit.
Now, I don't know which team it is now because two more it could have changed. But I mean, I do think Chepo's been slowly turning things around for Toluca, man. Because before he came in, this is the team that was getting washed at home by MLS teams. Like they were just getting
4-0
spanked.
Kansas City, man. How do you lose 4-0 to Kansas City? Go home.
And especially
Oh wait, they were home.
Yeah.
Oh
And that's
man.
one of the hardest venues. That's one of the most difficult venues because of the
The altitude.
they're higher than Mex City.
Yeah.
And so man, to get beat like that, it's like but I think Chepo is a good coach. I know a lot of people don't like him, too defensive, or they still hate what happened at the selección. But I mean, his whole, like, if you were to see his whole career, his numbers, dude, he's one of the better coaches as far as like just getting good results. Like at Chivas too, he was always having the team qualifying. He was always taking you to Liguilla, taking you to semis, and very few coaches could do that. But I do think slowly turning things around at Toluca, which was their what was it their centenario not too long ago. They had all these festivals planned. No, they remodeled their stadium, and then they just
Yeah, they had their
yeah.
100-year anniversary. Well, this is back in 2017, but they got their
Yeah,
their
but
stadium got a facelift.
yeah, they were just they were like setting up to have this, and I guess like renovate the team or whatnot, and it just came crashing down. But I do think Chep's gonna put him in the right path. At least he's gonna have them, being a competitive team again, and Liguilla bound.
Yeah, I mean Toluca. I think, is always a team that deserves or demands respect just because of what they did in like the late 90s, early 2000s, man. They were just so dominant. And you would hate to get matched up with them in Liguilla. Many times they had Chivas' number, man.
Yeah,
And
that's what made that one campeonato the extra nicer was,
mhm.
and beating them at their home, dude.
Oh
That
yeah.
just
Super
that was sweet
satisfying.
right there, man. Yeah,
And then he ends up getting canned and then going to Toluca and winning some more silverware. So Chepo's I think he's had a good run with Toluca. We'll see what happens, you know. It's kind of interesting the fact that he got rid of Talavera and he traded him for another goalkeeper. So but they do have Sambu. Sambu continuing to get employed.
Sambu.
I don't know
Yeah,
how.
it could be just like the team politics sometimes, you know, because you have players that end up becoming too influential or
Mm.
having too much control of the locker room, and it's like
Why
they could.
what is it with players like Sambuesa who like just notorious for being a troublemaker, man? I mean, I lost count of how many teams he's been passed over to. You know, obviously he had that really long time with America, but even America got tired of him.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know, man.
He went to America and then went to Toluca, then León, and I think León even announced his arrival with naming one of the Cubs, or not one of the Cubs, one of the Tigers, like Sambu. That's how they announced his arrival, and
No.
then immediately got sent to Pachuca on loan. Like he only had one season with them, and then like, all right, that's enough. You can leave.
I think it's just their personality, and they just for whatever reason takes them a long time maybe to see that, you know, they're just harming themselves. Bofo Bautista, Cuauhtemoc Blanco were very much the same way. If you look at Cuauhtemoc's career, he was all over the place. Like he should have been a guy. He should have been the equivalent of Messi at Barca. You know, he should have never left America. Just
Mm,
done his whole career there, and he would have had some very impressive numbers. And he was at Santos. He was at Veracruz, Necaxa, Chicago Fire. He was just like all over the place, and he would always deliver, man. And but you know, people get tired of your shit because you know it's just some of these dudes messing around a lot or just causing problems, or they get to this point where they're just too influential and they could turn the whole team against
I
you.
see.
And and yeah, you know, it's all that could cost money if you're gonna rebuild a team or whatever. It could just you take a hit, and so both were the same when he
Yeah.
was at Chivas, and people like to blame the coach, and I'm like, dude, if you look, no other big team would take him. Once he leaves Chivas, then he's at Chiapas, he's at Chivas USA, he was indoor soccer, and then
Mm-hmm.
he was playing like in the Swami parking lot. This guy was just all over, man, and 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 it's like it's sad because he's one of the very very talented player, and he should have been at at a top club. If Chivas was like, okay, you're too much problems, you could have had a Cruz Azul, or a Tigres, Monterrey, teams that are at least gonna pay him top dollar, and he could have gone there. But just you're, dude, you're at Chiapas, a club that's no longer around.
Yeah. I know, man. Um, I just feel like for some reason the coaches in Mexico don't really possess the ability to know how to, I don't know, how to handle these
Well,
players. Because I mean, you look at like
I,
someone like Sir Alex Ferguson, man. That guy, he was able to manage some of the biggest, like egos in the
yeah,
game with like David Beckham,
no,
for example, and Cristiano Ronaldo, and he was able
no,
to.
it's I agree, but it's give and take because Buse, I think it was Buse that had him at Pachuca, and he won a league title with Pachuca, and right after winning it, that's when he's like, get rid of this guy, man. He's gonna
Wow.
give us more problems, and I think that's when he goes to Chivas. But I do think, I mean, it depends because even you saw Pep got rid of Zlatan, man. He was like he had him just that one season, and then he's like, you know, get rid of this dude. I think same reason he got rid of like it. I don't know if it was him. It's been so long. 'Cause it was like Eto'o and Ronaldinho. I think it depends when because these guys would meet and talk, and then they're like, I'm just not gonna get through to this guy. Because I mean, like if Buse felt that way, this is the same Buse that ended up coaching Ronaldinho at
Yeah.
Querétaro, and he managed to do a good job with that.
I think for certain players, you just kind of have to know how they tick, you know, and then you kind of use that to motivate them, you know. I think like it takes like a really great coach to be able to figure out, you know, how to get the best out of a player that, you know, likes to party, you know, like for example, Dennis Rodman, you know, they knew that he had to get that party thing out of his system, so they'll let him fly out to Vegas, party his balls off, and then he'll come back to training like super ready to go, you know. It's just like some players, they just got to have that, you know, and then they'll give you 110%. But again, it takes like some of the top coaches to kind of figure that out. I'm gonna throw a name at you and see if it rings a bell. Espiricueta. Do you remember that kid?
Yeah, from the youth, right? From
Mm-hmm.
the what's it, under 17?
Espiricueta, Jonathan. After what he came out of Tigres, then he went to was it Porto or Villarreal? He's actually now officially joined Atlético Veracruz. So, R.I.P. to his career.
Liga de Expansión. Yeah, he was in the 2011, so he was with Fierro.
Yeah.
Wow.
He
Man.
he won
And he's
the
26. That's still young, you know.
he scored the Olympic goal against Alemania. He off the corner kick.
Okay.
Yeah, in the
Gol
semis.
Olímpico, yes.
And I just looked up his trajectory. So he was at Tigres, and then he got loaned out to Villarreal B, and then Atlético San Luis, and then Puebla. So now he's not even good enough.
He's playing.
Huh?
Well, he's playing at Puebla, though, right?
No, he just joined a new club.
Oh, he was. Wait, I'm looking at his thing. He was at Puebla since 2018. So the past in 2 years, he only got 8 games.
Yeah.
Oh, ouch. Yeah, man. He probably plays himself like on FIFA. He put himself in Barcelona
He
or
put
something.
himself in the like career mode where you like, you know, you create a player. And then he did the thing where you put like 99 as your stats for everything. 99, 99, 99.
Oh, man. Oh, that's so bad.
It sucks because, I mean,
Ouch.
Govea, he's like another player that, like, you know, it's just like talented, just they just don't pan out, man.
No, well, I mean, and for some of them, it's lack of playing time, and then for others, it just goes to their head, and then they just, you know, they just don't seem to try as hard, or they feel like I already made it.
Maybe Mexico just peaks at teenage, you know, like we're really good at the youth team, the youth tournaments, bro. We're like the Brazil of like the under 17s, bro. we got like what, 2 or 3 World Cups, man. It's just like, but then
it's like the hot chick that she's prom queen, but then she's pregnant like soon after.
And she just gets hella fat. She gets hella fat, bro. You're like, what the hell?
Up 2, 3 kids.
It's like,
there goes your modeling career, man.
What happened to you? You look like you ate your pregnant self, and this is the this is the result, man.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's what Mexico is. Ouch.
I don't know, man. I mean, we produce a a world-class player every like 20 years, it feels like. Hugo
Yeah,
Sanchez, Rafa Marquez, and Chicharito. Those are. I don't care what you say. Those are world-class players, man. But
I think Cuauhtemoc was right up
yeah,
there. To me, Cuauhtemoc, what he did with the selección, I think beating Brazil, because that was in the Gold Cup,
the
and Mex had never beaten Brazil in an official game.
you mean the
So to
Confederation
beat,
Cup?
no, Gold Cup.
Oh, Gold Cup.
The Gold Cup 90
No,
was
because
95. It was in
oh
95, and it was Bora as coach, and Cuauhtemoc was right there, and he very young guy,
yeah,
but Mex had no official win over Brazil, like they never, and that's like official
wow,
tournament. So to lift a cup, beating Brazil, it was like, it was like one of the first big results. But it's like showing, hey, you could beat Brazil. And granted, it wasn't like their full team, but you're getting wins, man. You're racking them up, and then you do get the Confederation Cup, which was 3 years later. No, 4 years, X99, and that was the other big win. And so I think, you kind of set a precedent. It's like, hey, we could beat these fools. We, this is Brazil. We're no longer, you don't see the Verde Amarela and get scared. It was like, hey, bring it. And I think that's a big reason. Then when you have '05, the youth team, they've seen Mexico beat Brazil. And then when they go and the '05, the under 17, and they beat Brazil, and then they're winning a youth tournament, and now it's like you're seeing a big change, and I think he was a part of that, you know, of what helped Mexico get to that level, and you see it again at the Olympics, which was huge. And by the time I remember, I'm watching the Olympics, and I felt positive, man. I was like, Brazil, we got it, man.
yeah,
We play our game. I mean, how many times can you say that? When
yeah.
when you see Mex playing, and that's in Brazil, dude. It's one of the best teams, historic teams, and to be able to say that, and to me, it started there, man. It started at that Gold Cup, and
Wow.
I think
I actually looked it up. 96 was the year.
I was 96, man.
Luis
So
Garcia and Cuauhtemoc Blanco 2-0.
yeah, okay. I remember it rained that day, and I heard it on the radio. It was at the Coliseum, the true Azteca del Norte. It was raining heavy that day, and I couldn't.
88,000.
You had to, if you bought the ticket, that's the only way to see the game. Unless you had those giant parabolicas and get the Max feed. But I was stuck to the radio, man, old school, like old school, just hearing it on the radio. And the
Dang.
next day at school, it was like, all the kids that liked football were all just bragging and shit. But yeah, so 96 to 99, 3 years. So in 3 years, he beat them twice in official tournaments and gave Mexico you know,
Yeah, the
two
Confederation Cup,
cups.
1999, man.
And that was, I mean, sadly, the FIFA got rid of it. But that was one of Mexico's big, cost to fame to have an official cup like that. But who knows, man? They might bring it back. But it's on the record, man. I still.
Are they discontinuing the Confederation Cup?
They did because they're gonna do the.
League of Nations
I
shit.
think they're gonna. No, the FIFA Club's World Cup.
Oh.
They're gonna make it more into a bigger tournament.
The 2021 tournament was originally to be held in Qatar. However, concerns arose surrounding the high temperatures. So, they will be moving it to another country.
What,
Wait.
confederations?
Wait, hold on. I'm reading it on
Because I
Wikipedia.
heard.
You know how Wikipedia, like as you're reading an article, somebody's editing it. So, oh, it looks like they're going to be abolishing it, and they're going to do a 24-team FIFA Club World Cup.
Yeah, see.
But what does that have to do with the Confederations Cup? I don't understand.
Well, because FIFA organizes it.
Yeah, but I mean,
So
like
they
club
just
and country
don't want.
are separate. You know.
I guess they just want to make sure that teams, they just don't want too many games on the calendar, and
I
I guess
see.
it's like we need to make room, and it's one of these
I
tournaments has to go.
I've always felt like the Confederations Cup has always been the dress rehearsal for the World Cup. You know, you can kind of get a look into.
Yeah, yeah, I
However,
agree.
it's funny because the teams that end up winning the Confederations Cup end up being cursed. They end up getting.
Yeah,
I mean, Brazil. I think they won the Confederations Cup. Then, they got that 7-1 defeat against Germany. And I think Germany won the Confederations Cup and then crashed out against Korea. So
and Mex.
yeah, um, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with Costa Rica. Costa Rica is not the same Costa Rica, from 2014. So I think Mexico, especially in El Azteca, they should be pretty comfortable. I will say though, it's going to be pretty haunting to, if you're a player, you're used to having La Azteca packed, 88,000, and it's going to be empty. So it's kind of weird.
It will be. They could do those. What was it that they were doing? The video,
Oh yeah, the
the
video.
video with the dude putting his junk.
I
They
wonder.
could, they could do more video,
I wonder
more
if
video.
I wonder, if they'll put the fake crowd noise, and then if they'll continue to put the chant when the when the goalkeeper.
Oh, that's the one thing, man. The chant might people might forget it.
Oh man, maybe that.
It's been so long. What did we used to yell? You know, People eventually stop chanting Chiquitiboom, Chiquitiboom a la bim bombade. We might go the way of the Chiquitiboom. Who knows? Who knows, Jaime?
Yeah, we'll see what
Only
happens.
time will tell.
Um, yeah, I think that's pretty much everything that we were gonna cover this week. The doble jornada going into jornada 6. Chivas are number 9, not where we want to be, but 12 out of the 18 teams will make the Liguilla. There is one thing that I wanted to let everybody know. Amazon picked Chivas up for a all or nothing season, so they're actually recording it.
Oh, nice.
It's actually going underway right now, so pretty cool. I think it's funny that they did an all or nothing, season for Dortmund, and then like in the first episode, it was like them watching
Oh,
Leon play, and
yeah.
it was Macias scoring goals, and then in the little photo that was leaked for the Chivas all or nothing thing, it was Macias who was getting interviewed. So it's like, this camera crew must be like, yo, Dortmund was talking about you, not too long ago. What happened to that?
Yeah, very good observation there, Jaime. I wonder if there's anything to it, even though recently they haven't been named as one of the teams,
No,
right? It's been Real Sociedad and I guess some French team, but
yeah,
yeah,
they
imagine
they
Dortmund swoops up and we see it on Amazon. That would be
they
that
ended
would be
up
something else, man.
they ended up signing Haaland. So I think that's what happened with the Macias thing, is like they ended up getting Haaland, and Haaland's been amazing for Dortmund. So, but who knows? If they plan on like selling him, they can still have Macias as a backup.
Oh, I'm pretty sure. No, I'm pretty sure they will sell him, man. I, 2 years max.
Oh yeah,
Pa fuera.
yeah. He'll end up going to a big club. Um, Somewhat related, Cavani, who is rumored to go to MLS, ends up signing for Benfica, 10 million a season. So
Wow.
yeah,
Oh man, I feel like we lost. I would have loved to see Cavani play.
right. I would have.
Yeah.
I think he could have played for like a America, or like a, you know what I mean, like
Yeah, for 10 million, man, start to match those wages. I think the highest is at about 5 or 6, which what they pay Guignac. That's almost double, man.
Yeah.
Still far from that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of money. I mean, to still be playing in Europe competitively, that's a pretty good deal. I think he was going into Inter Miami demanding like 15 or something. Like he asked for like a ridiculous amount of money. That's why he ended up not going to Inter Miami, but they were heavily pursuing him.
Yeah, he would have been a great capture.
Yeah. But they got Pizarro, they got El Bukis.
The next best thing. Pues ya. Well, Jaime, ya me tengo que ir porque me pegan.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, thank you for spending time with us, all the listeners out there, and I hope everybody has a good night. Cheers.